Have you ever noticed how hard even the smallest change can be? You find yourself falling into old behaviors, old routines, old habits, even when you know the change you are trying to make is the right thing to do, the thing that you want to do. Let me expose to you three things that are going on in your brain that are actually making that change that you seek harder than it needs to be. And in fact, if you work on these and clear these out on the front end, that journey and that path on the back end will be much more successful for you. I call them mental games, mental residue, and mental trenches. Let me explain. Mental games is the negative chatter in your head that holds you back. It what wants you to stay in place, stay comfortable, stay safe. It's your primal brain. That negative chatter is telling you not to change, not to move forward because it wants to do what it always knows, what's comfortable to it. So we got to get over those mental games if we want to move forward. The second one is mental residue. Now, this one I'm very passionate about because it's something that's often overlooked, but crucial in trying to achieve our goals and get to that next level. Mental residue is that heavy weight in our brain that makes us feel tired, confused, unfocused, unclear. Here's what happens. The alarm goes off, we wake up. We go from activity to meeting to task to another task to meeting to checking TikTok to looking at our email to having 30 tabs open, back to another meeting with no breaks, no downtime for the brain to clear out what you've already done and be present and open for what's coming. Research has shown that our brains need 5 to 7 minutes to complete and clear out what you've already done and move on to the next. So when we move from thing to thing to thing, all we're doing is layering on all this heavy mental residue that weighs us down. It's like a battery constantly being drained. And it's no wonder that by the 2 o'clock hour, our energy levels aren't there, our focus isn't there, we're making bad decisions, we're not totally paying attention, collaboration gets harder. It's because we're carrying around all this heavy mental residue. So if you want to get through the mental residue, if you want to remove it from your brain so that you can be clear and focused and present, simply give yourself 5-minute meditation and movement breaks between tasks. But mental residue, if it stays there, will weigh you down. The third one is mental trenches. Here's the thing. The more we do something, the deeper that groove, the deeper ingrained it is in our brains. Think of our brain as like a big landscape with a bunch of paths on it. And some of them are kind of on the surface. You've only gone through them once. But some of those paths are really deep and really entrenched. There are behaviors, our habits, our routines, and we do them on a subconscious level. We have tens of thousands of thoughts every single day. But you know what research has shown? 90% of those thoughts are repetitive. So we are playing in those deep mental trenches because that wiring is so strong after years and years of action of doing it. It's why I know how to make coffee in the morning without thinking about it. It's why I respond to emails in the same way every time without thinking about it. Mental trenches. It's hard to change and to innovate when we're playing in those mental trenches. So you need to find actions and activities that get you out of those mental trenches and start to build new paths in that landscape of your brain. If you stay in those trenches, you will do what you've always done. And some of those things may not be serving you, and they definitely make change harder. So we got to get up out of those mental trenches, and we've got to build new paths, new wiring in our brain. Mental games, mental residue, and mental trenches make change and make innovation hard. But if you address the neuroscience and the behavioral psychology of change on the front end, if you deal with those mental games and residue and trenches, that change not only becomes possible, it becomes easier on the back end.